Good morning and welcome to the Entrepreneurial Journey. I'm Dave Westcott, CEO of Evergreen Brands. We talk about million-dollar business ideas. We talk about business. And today, as you can see, I'm on the beautiful beaches of Florida. And never do I want to miss an entrepreneurial journey. Never do I want to miss a podcast. And so here we are shooting live. We're shooting live from the Ponte Vedra Hotel. So you may see some guests walk by every so often. You may see a tractor come by, as they comb the beach. But we're shooting live and we're having fun and we're doing that. And we're right on the beach, the beautiful beach. And today I'm going to talk about on the entrepreneurial journey, I'm going to talk about what does success really look like and how does success fit into what we build. And we got to keep this on the down low because we've shot in hotels before and they don't always like it. They don't love us shooting in their hotels. They don't love us shooting on their property, but we're going to have a little fun. We're going to take the risk because sometimes we just got to live in the gray area and not everything is black and white. But what I want to talk about today, what I want to share with you today is probably what I think is one of the most important parts of success in business, what I think is one of the best things about business. And you can see that big tractor go by. Too bad it doesn't have a little snowplow on the front of it. That would really make it unique and fun. But what we'll talk about on the show today is we're going to talk about what does it look like to grow your business and to mix life into that. What does life in your business look like? And so, with that in mind, one of the things that I do on every trip, no matter where I go, no matter what we're doing for business, is we bring the family, and the family always comes with us. The family is always a part of what we're doing, and that's a key to what I believe is real success in business. So we came down here to Ponte Vedra, Florida, and we're hanging out at the SIMA Leadership Forum. It's all about snow, and we're in the sun, but taking the family is absolutely critical to our business and to our success, but to our personal lives as well, because so often the line gets blurred. So often, it's just business, work, and it's easy to be on the grind all the time. And what I've learned is that, each summer, this is the time we're meeting with clients. This is the time we're gaining new business. This is the time we're going to conventions. This is the time we're going to association trade shows. And in that, what happens is it's real easy to not be present with family. It's real easy to not be there. And so I made a decision a long time ago, before my wife and I ever got married, that I would never be that husband or never be that dad. And so I'll take you back, almost 10 years ago to when my wife and I first got married, and we had a big contract that was coming up with a large grocery store chain across the U.S. and I had to go out and visit quite a few regional managers across the Midwest, and I was in Wisconsin, and I was in Michigan, and I was in Pennsylvania, and I was in all of these different areas and all of these different places. And what I found was that, sure, I could have taken that trip alone, but my wife and I, we flew in. We had a little baby, little 3-month-old, 4-month-old baby at the time, and we did all that traveling together. And we were in the car for, 6 or 7, 8 days, just traveling and going from, property to property and meeting with regional managers and, checking out, what their concerns were, what they wanted to see in the RFP, what they wanted to see in the bid, what they wanted to see in the scope of work, what they wanted us to perform on site. And we did that trip together. And most people would have said, oh man, you're crazy. And I'll tell you, there was times and moments when that's tough. There's times and moments when that's not an easy thing to do. But I'll tell you what, that trip is one of the most memorable trips that we've taken. Why? Because, every day we went out to lunch, and every night we went out to dinner, and, every time that we stopped in a new city, we saw something cool, and we were able to go to Niagara Falls, and we saw Niagara Falls, and Buffalo, New York was kind of one of the last stops on our journey, and we were able to, spend that time together, spend that spend that time at the Niagara Falls, and we were able to take the boat down and see this incredible waterfall. And what an amazing experience that we're able to share together, and what an amazing time. So we're doing life together, we're doing business together, and it makes this business experience amazing. Well, my daughter Madeline, she's been to 38 of the 50 states. Every single year we travel about 50 days a year. And now that's not a ton for a lot of people, but I'm telling you, when you're packing a family along with you, when you're packing the wife and you're packing the kids, and you're getting to the airport and you're pushing strollers and you're carrying bags and you're getting to business meetings and you're having conversations, I'll tell you what, it's not an easy thing. It's actually very difficult, and it's actually very expensive. You think about it, it's 4 extra plane tickets, because now we're a family of 5 with an infant. As soon as that infant, that lap child, gets to be 2 years old, now we got another plane ticket. So at the end of the day, you're paying for 4 or 5 plane tickets. You're paying for large hotel rooms. You're paying for the Uber XL instead of just the standard Uber. But at the end of the day, it's about spending that quality time together. And I'll tell you that those 50 days a year that we spend on the road are pretty impactful, because, hey, we're going to LA, we got to go meet a client. Cool, let's hit Disneyland for a day. Or, hey, we're going to Dallas, Texas for a client meeting. Well, let's stop by a rodeo and see what that's all about. So we've been able to experience many different things along the path and along the journey. And so those things have made business more enjoyable along the way. And so one of the things that we focus on, one of the things that we work on, is as we're traveling, as we're doing business, as we're attending different shows and trade shows and things like that, our goal is to always spend time with one another. And sometimes that means they're hanging out in the hotel room, and they're going swimming, and they're going to the pool, and they're going to the beach, and they're going to the zoo, and they're doing all these things, but they're still having these incredible experiences. And I might be gone during the day, at meetings or in these different pieces, but we're able to do it together. And that's a big deal, because we're still spending time together. We're still traveling together. We're still hanging out together. And so as I share these stories, and as I share these, different pieces of what business looks like, it's a pretty awesome experience to be able to spend that time with your family. It's a pretty awesome experience to be able to take them with you as you grow your business, because business is tough. And I see business, it separates lots of people, and it divides people, and all of a sudden you come home and the husband is he's at work all day, and mom's either working or taking care of the kids, and they come home, and at night it's like, well, who's taking care of this and who's doing that? And it just is it could be kind of rough. And so we made a commitment to spend the extra money. We made a commitment to spend the extra time. We made a commitment to do things a little bit differently. And that's how we run our business. That's how we run our life. And so enjoying life, enjoying the experiences are super, super important. And when you think about how much time you have left, I saw a statistic that the average man lives to be 82 years old. And so, think about where you are, and think about how many days are left. And then think about that time from 70 to 82. Those are tougher years. You're not moving around as well. The knees hurt. Whatever you got going on, like, those aren't the prime years. And so what are you doing with the prime time of your life? How are you spending that with your family? How are you spending that, engaged in what you're doing? And one of the true things is that no matter what you build in business, whether it's a snow business or a landscape business, construction business, fruit smoothie business, Burger King franchise, like, it doesn't matter what it is. How are you spending your time? How are you growing your life, and what are you losing along the way? Because if you just work and you're all alone and you've got a pile of money, what's the point? Because you can't take it with you. And so my goal, my philosophy is, let's do it together. That means, hey, well, are we going to take some emails on Saturday and Sunday? Yeah, probably. Are we going to take some phone calls over the weekend? Yeah, probably. Are we going to check some things or handle some operational issues on the weekends or in the evenings? Yeah, we are. We're going to be committed to our clients. We're going to be committed to the work that we have to get done. We're not going to shirk back on that responsibility. We're not going to shirk back on that time. We're going to be committed, but we're going to be on the same page. My wife and I, we're going to say, this is how we're doing our life together. This is how we're, building our program. This is how we're putting it together, because we got to take care of our clients. We got to take care of our employees. We got to take care of those needs. We can't just neglect them. We can't say, oh, it's Saturday afternoon and I'm not working, so I'm not going to take this email. We need to be there for our clients. We need to be there for our business. But at the same time, we need to be able to enjoy life too. And we need to say, hey, listen, this is something that we are proud of. This is something that we are going to work towards. And together we're going to travel. And together we're going to make those trips. And together we're going to go to those places. And we're going to see those museums. And we're going to live that life. And you know what? It's a pretty happy life because we're always together. And the thing about it is that, when you're together, when you're building life together, when you're building business together, it's really, really enjoyable. Now, I was at Harvard Business School, and one of the keynote speakers that came in to speak came in and he shared a story about his life, and he was one of the grand masters, and masters of the universe, and he was on I can't remember if it was a Forbes magazine or a Times magazine, and it was like, him and Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos and like 7 or 8 other billionaires. And he shares this story about how, have you ever bet on a true thing? Have you ever bet on something that was, impossible to fail? Like you knew the outcome before it was going to happen. How much would you bet on it? And, he bet a lot on this banking deal that he was putting together. And all of a sudden, boom, we had the financial collapse of 2008. And he loses everything. And he goes home and he knocks on he's trying to get in the door. And so he ends up knocking on the door, and he's getting in the front door of his house. And the maid sends him a note and says, hey, you're getting divorced. Your wife doesn't want to see you. And he's like, what? This is crazy. And, just loses this incredible, this billions of dollars in this business deal. Now this guy he's broke, and now he comes home and he loses his wife, and, he's pretty down and out. He's pretty, depressed, and, life isn't going well for him. And so, he says, okay, well, I'm going to spend more time with my dad, and my dad's getting older, and he spends more time with his dad, and he's hanging out with his dad and taking care of him, and boom, dad dies. And he's just like, no, man, this is crazy. And he's got a sister down in Texas, and so he goes and stays down with her, and man, some freak accident happened, boom, she dies. And so he's living up in Boston, and he's living with a friend, and he loves shooting photography, and he's out, and he's walking along the water, and he trips and he falls, and he says the only thing he was loving life with now was photography and shooting photos. And boom, he falls, he trips right over the edge, doesn't fall into the water, but his camera falls off and goes in the water. And he explains it more eloquently and better than what I'm just paraphrasing with you here today. But the point of the matter was, he lost everything. This guy was on the cover of the magazine, and he lost everything, from his family all the way down. Why? Because he's working so much. Why? Because he's spending so much time away from his family. And what he says at the end is, and he's sharing this, and there's all of these, students there, and young students that are about to go out on their life, and they're about to do all of these things they're going to do. And he's saying, don't let yourself get caught up in the world. As you build your business, as you start to build an empire, as you have a career, as you become an executive, don't get caught up in everything else going around you, because the most important thing is the touch of the person next to you, holding hands of a loved one, spending time, early morning, eating breakfast with someone that you love. Like, life is so much better together, and life is so much better with love. And he goes on to share about these studies, in the late 1960s and 50s, where, a monkey goes into a cage, and, it's got a little steel fake monkey that it can hold on to, and like, it just will be there for a little bit, then it'll come off. It'll be there for a little bit, and it'll come off, and it needs love, right? And then it shows this monkey with a stuffed animal, and how long it'll stay stuck to that stuffed animal, because even the monkey knows that it needs love. And then how much time will that monkey spend, with human interaction, or with a mama monkey or a daddy monkey? It'll stay connected because even animals, the most basic of animals, know and understand that we need love and we need connection. So as you're building your business, as you're taking your career to the next level, you know, spend time with family, spend time with your parents, spend time with your children, spend time with your spouse. Don't sacrifice those things. Don't sacrifice those key moments, because those key moments are the moments that, you know, really make it all worthwhile. You know, when we have a big win at business, you know, it's great to be able to go out and celebrate. You got to celebrate the wins, because in business, I can say, you know, it's kind of like living in this bubble of negativity where we've got a lot of negative things happening all the time. We got a lot of tough things happening all the time. And so if you don't celebrate the wins, it can get kind of down and it can get kind of disappointing. And so we want to focus on really celebrating those wins and celebrating those, you know, those great moments, and do that with somebody. I can remember going out and celebrating, and, you know, when you're celebrating alone, it's never as fun. Right? It's never as cool to celebrate by yourself. Like if you go out to dinner by yourself and, you know, you get a bowl of soup and you get a salad and you get a steak and you're all by yourself, it's not as fulfilling. But if you're there with somebody and, you know, you're hanging out and you're sharing the meal and you're enjoying conversation, that dinner can last 2, 3, 4 hours sometimes. But when you're by yourself, you're in and out of there in 45 minutes. And so as you build your business and you think about your growth and you think about where you're going, take time to spend with other people. Take time to invest in those key relationships. If you've got friendships, you know, don't let those friendships pass you by. If you've got people that you grew up with or people that you went to high school with, reach out and say, how you doing? What's going on? Just yesterday, I was texting with a friend that I grew up with. We probably sent 75 text messages yesterday. You know, it's just a nice connection, connecting with people. Connect with your parents once a week, even if the parents are estranged or you don't love them or you don't like them or you don't feel like you love them or there was some kind of issue. Connect. It's okay. Send a text message thinking about you today. Rebuild those relationships, because it does well for your heart. It does well for your mind. It does well for your body. It does well for who you are. And so as you're building your life and as you're building your business and as you're putting these key elements together, remember this: it's always better together. It's always the very best when we can do it together. So what does that look like? What are some practical tips that we can use to bring this thing together? Well, at night, one of the things that I believe is, like, we've all got these cell phones, right? And we're connected to these phones on a continual basis. So I'm going through the airport, and, you know, I've got a broken ankle right now, so it's kind of hard to get around, and so I've got to scoot around, and it's not my favorite. It's not very cool. But what I notice is that, like, I've got to wind through people, and I've got to get from point A to point B, and it's not always very easy. And what I notice is that people are doing this all the time. They are just on their phones. And so, like, they're almost running into me because they're so on their phone. And it doesn't matter. Every subway that I'm in, every, you know, train that I get on, every plane that I get on, every place that I go, there's always people, and these people are always looking down. They are always so connected to their phones that they don't know what's going on around them. And what I've noticed on my travels and my journeys is that, you know, as a family, we take these amazing trips, and you look at this amazing view that we have, and you look at this amazing beach that I'm on right now. But I'll tell you, every single person that walks by, or every single person that's there, they've got what? Earphones in, right? They're connected to something outside of where they're at. They're connected to a cell phone. How many people will we walk by that'll just be doing this on their phone? They'll just be walking down this little path, and they'll just be connected to their phone. They're so engaged in what's happening with technology that they're missing what's around them. So one of the tips is, when you get home, take your phone and put it away. Don't touch it. Don't mess with it. Leave it be. Take that phone and put it in a drawer. Put it in a basket. Don't touch it. And then spend that time with your family. Spend that time with your wife. Spend that time with your girlfriend. Spend that time with your kids. Whatever it is, spend that time and talk. And then as a family say, guess what? We're not going to do phones at night. When you go out to a meal, no phone policy. Right? You can take that call 30 minutes later. You can take that call 15 minutes later. So we're at this restaurant here, and we're at the Ponte Vedra Hotel, and we're having lunch, and there's many people having lunch, and I always look down and I see, two couples sitting together, and they're both on their phones at the same time. They're not interacting with one another, they're interacting with the phone. So what do? I say, okay, listen, hey, we're at the restaurant, boom, phones down. And we have this time engaging, and I ask my kids, hey, what do you want to do on this trip? What do you want to get out of this? And they say, I don't know. Well, do you want to go to the pool? Yeah, I want to go to the pool. Okay. Do you want to walk on the beach? What if we find some shells? Yeah, I want to find some shells. And now we're engaged in this conversation. It's, what's your favorite shell? Well, what's your favorite beach? And because, your kids, they always want to know what your favorites are. And then we're talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. What's your favorite Ninja Turtle? And which one would, like we're having this whole conversation about Ninja Turtles. It's cool. It's a conversation on their level. But you know what? You can see the excitement in their voice. You can see the excitement in their tones. And you can see that they're communicating and they're talking. And we're building a relationship. And so part of this relationship comes with setting your phone apart, because I can't tell you how difficult it is to go through the airport and people, excuse me, sorry, hey, and they're just sitting there with their phone sucked to their face. And I don't mean that to be disrespectful, but how much time is that phone taking away from you? How much relationship are you building with that phone? And when you're down, does that phone nourish you? Does that phone take care of you? What does that do for you? And hours can go by scrolling on this thing in a blink of an eye. You can literally spend time just flipping through little cut to cut to cut, whether you're on Instagram or Facebook or whatever it is. So much time can be spent just lost there. And so one of the tips I would say is put that phone away at night. First thing in the morning, what do? Do you pick up your phone and, okay, well, I better get a jump start on my emails. If I can knock these out before I get out of bed, I'm moving in the right direction. I would challenge you, don't pick up that phone in the morning. I would say, get up, make your coffee, say hello to your spouse, your girlfriend, your kids, whatever. Say hi, how are you doing? How did you sleep last night? And at our house, we go into devotions. And so devotions for us are simple. We sit around the table and we do 10 minutes of what we're grateful for. We each share 10 grateful things. I'm grateful for Dakota. I'm grateful for Bubba. I'm grateful for this trip. I'm grateful for the Bible. I'm grateful for Jesus. I'm grateful for whatever our kids will say. And then, we go into devotion reading. So we're going to read the Bible, right? And so we're going to spend time investing in that. And then, we're going to spend time, reading a self-help book, something that makes us better, something that makes us smarter. And we're going to share that. And then, we're going to pray together, and we're each going to go around and we're going to say a prayer for the day. God, be with us today, bless us today, give us a good week, because the week can be tough. And then from there, we jump in and we write in our journal, and we're journaling, writing down what's going on, and the kids are drawing pictures, and we're spending this time connecting together in the morning before we go to work, before we start with the day's trials and tribulations, and we're building this bond. And so that's the tip number 2, is spend your morning together. What does it look like? How do you sacrifice that? Is it really that important? Whatever job you're doing or whatever you have going on, is it so important that you don't spend that time? Because that time is gone. You never ever get that back. I think of my daughter now as, she's going to be 9 years old. And I think about that and I think, my God, 9 years old. Where have 9 years gone? And she's becoming this little lady, and she's smiling, and she's got long hair, and she's like growing up right in front of me. And I'm thinking, gosh, I remember when you were just a little thing in pink dresses and huge bows in your hair, and you were just waddling around and so chubby, and you're not that way anymore. So I got to spend that time with them. I tell them, hey, you call me anytime you want during the day. No business meeting is as important as you. No thing that I'm doing during the day is important with you. Hey, come and hang out with my office. I put a TV in my office just so my kids could come in and watch shows with me. Why do they watch shows? Well, they can watch shows while I'm working. They can watch Shaq or Shrek or Sonic 2 or whatever's going on, but they can just be present. Hey, my son and I, we love snowplows, and we love plowing snow, and plowing snow is a part of our business. So we got tons of Lego snowplows, and they sit up on the shelves in my office, and he comes in, he says, Dad, okay, I'm in the office, can I play with the Legos? Yeah, absolutely, because he knows when he's in the office, he can pretend like he's plowing snow on the carpet or the desk or the chairs or whatever, and so he's engaging with me while I'm in business. He's spending time with me while I'm in business, and these things are so crucial and so key to building those relationships, because I'm building relationship with my family. I'm building relationship with them in everything that they do. Hey, guess what? I like to work hard, and they need to learn to work hard, and they need to learn to work hard all the time. So guess what? I work on Saturdays. I work on Saturday mornings. It's my time to work on the business, not in the business, and think about things and develop things and feel out strategies and new parts of what we're accomplishing. But guess what? The kids are always there. And then at 3:30 on Saturday, boom, the phone goes off. We're turning the phone off. We're not going to be captivated by our phone. We're going to be able to spend time together. We're going to watch movies. We're going to go to the theater. We're going to hang out. We're going to have a good time. We're going to do all of these things that we do on a normal basis. And we're not going to let anything interrupt us. We're not going to let anything mess us up. We're going to have a good time. And that's really important to us as we go. And there's a huge wasp flying right around by me. So you're going to see me move a little bit because I don't like those wasps. And so it's hot out here and we're on the beach, but we're not going to let that disturb us. That's what you get when you're out in the elements. You got to deal with all of the riffraff and even the people that walk by. But it's been pretty calm this morning. So we're going to spend that time. And then what does Sunday look like? Well, Sunday we're going to go out to lunch and we're going to go to church in the morning. And guess what? We're not going to have our work phone. We're not going to be captivated by emails. We're not going to be captivated by phone calls. Yes, we have a personal phone, and if there's an emergency or a crisis, the team knows how to get a hold of me. They know how to reach me. They know how to text me. They know how to say what's going on, but we're not going to sit there and be captivated by our cell phone. We're not going to be captivated by what's happening. What we're going to do is we're just going to focus on the now, and we're going to focus on what that looks like for us and how we take care of that. And we're going to spend that time together. And the kids know we don't work on Sundays. Now, if an emergency comes up, yeah, we'll take the emergency call. We'll handle the emergency situation because that's our responsibility. But at the end of the day, that day is set aside. And so these little tips, these little things that we talk about and do on a daily basis, these are things that make life amazing. When you go on a business trip, take the kids. Instead of driving home the same night, spend the night. Yeah, it might cost you $200 in a hotel. It might cost you an extra $100 meal. But now that becomes something special. Something that your wife is now a part of. Something that your kids are now a part of. Let them celebrate in the fun and the success. Let them see different places all across the world, all across the country. Let them be a part of that. Let them see this is what dad does. This is how mom and dad go to business together. And you know what? It's not always easy. And sometimes it's challenging, but the reward is that we're a family that's together. And we're a family that loves one another. And we're a family that's doing this life and this business together, and we're connecting. We're not growing apart. We're not doing relationship on the phone. We're not doing relationship through streaming and video calls. So if you really want to build a life that's amazing, if you really want to build a business that's successful, build a business that's built with family. Right? Call it my own family practice. Spend that time together. Take those extra moments to spend time with your family. Take that extra moment to hold hands with your wife on the way to work or on the airplane. There's going to be tough moments. There's going to be things that make it difficult. It's going to strain your finances. But do you need a new BMW, or would it rather spend that time with the family? Would you rather take that extra 30 grand and hang out with the kids and the family and make incredible memories and have incredible trips? And this beautiful background that you see behind me at the Ponte Vedra Hotel in Florida, this is a trip that we take. And my wife said, I love SIMA. She said, I love SIMA. I love the Snow and Ice Management Association because I love this conference. Every year this conference, this leadership forum, is in a different place. And guess what? We see a different place. Last year we were in Austin, Texas, and the year before that we were at the Breakers in West Palm, and the year before that we were in the Breakers in West Palm. And we are always traveling, and we're always doing something exciting and fun. And yeah, we're doing a little work. We're making a little money while we're there. We're taking care of our responsibilities and growing our business. But at the same time, we're still spending our evenings together. We're still going out to dinner. We're still having a little room service in the morning. We're still spending those times. And so if I can encourage you in anything as you're on your entrepreneurial journey, it's amazing to make $1 million. It's amazing to build $1 million business. But there's no point in doing any of it if you don't have family, if you don't have friends, if you don't have love, if you don't have connection, and your wife isn't all in on what you do. Spoil her, festoon her life with praises. When you're out on a trip, buy her an extra purse, get her an extra dress, let her spend a little extra money, and you know what? You'll have blessings that you can't even believe if you invest in her life, invest in her dreams, invest in what she wants to accomplish. Do you know what she wants out of life? Do you know what that looks like? And the same goes with your kids. Invest in their life, invest in their dreams, and you'll build these amazing memories and relationships that you take with you forever. This is Dave Westcott. This is the entrepreneurial journey. If you liked this, if this was good for you, if this helped you, give us a like, give us a share, drop a comment in the comments. We love to hear from you. I hope this was helpful for you, because in my life, the number one thing, no matter what I have, like it doesn't matter if you buy a boat, doesn't matter if you buy a bigger house, doesn't matter what kind of car you drive, the only thing that matters is love. The only thing that matters is that connection. And we search for love, and we search for that person that's going to fulfill all of our needs. And it starts with God. Give God the glory, put Him first in your life, and then boom, spend time in that relationship, spend time with your wife, spend time with your kids, and you'll be amazed, because your life will be $1 million life just because you have family and you have love. I'm Dave Westcott. Follow me on LinkedIn, follow me on Facebook. Thank you so much for joining in on the entrepreneurial journey live from Ponte Vedra, Florida at the SIMA Snow and Ice Management Association Leadership Forum. Thank you so much and have a great day.